What's going on, boys and girls? Stock Jock here, up $779 in the first hour of trading today. Actually finished the day up $775, so I gave back $4, but I actually gave back like $250 because I was up over, actually $350. I was up around 11 or 1200 bucks and gave a lot back because E-Trade started getting laggy and it was just a mess. I don't know what was going on, so I just called it quits before I started giving back more than I really cared for. So let's get straight into the trades on this Black Friday. All right, so my first trade on the TIS, or the first trade of the day for me, was TIS. And I don't typically like to do this. And what I'm talking about is trade the first candle. It's usually, I don't really like trading the first three, or first two anyway. It's just too volatile. Too many orders going through. You don't really know what's going on. But in this case, it was a little different thing that I saw here. The stock drops out of the open and hits this $2 level square on the head. And down here, you'll see it when I run it on the L2, there's like 160,000 share buyer there. I'm like, what? So when I saw that, I immediately bought, hit a market order, got in at 208 basically. I was hoping to get a little earlier. And my thought process was, well, that's huge. I don't know what the news is. I didn't have time to look. And I didn't care at that point. I just saw that huge buyer there. I'm like, okay, I'm going to buy for a little bit of a bounce play. And I'll just use that $2 level as my stop loss. If it looks like that's going to fail, I should have plenty of time to get out. There's 160,000 shares sitting there on the bid. So I should have plenty of time to get out. That was my thought process. So I bought, got in, popped right back up. Next candle shot up again, and it came right back down real fast. And that kind of scared me a little bit. And I was kind of bummed because I did have like, I don't know, another $200 on this win that I had going for me. But this candle looks like it closed pretty green, right? But in all reality, it shot up, came right back down, and that's when I sold because I was like, maybe this thing is gonna spill over. And it just was ugly at the time. It did end up closing. If we go like this, it did end up closing looking pretty nice. But nonetheless, I sold at 216 right in here. For about 8 cents, $160.
TIS on watch. I'm actually gonna go long TIS. Huge buyer, $2. If $2 breaks them out. Out 216 TIS. I don't think it's done. This thing's feeling pretty strong. I don't know what the news is on it.
All right, so this next trade is just following some chat room momentum. One of the chat rooms that I subscribe to made this trade. Don't know really why they were looking at it, but it didn't matter to me because I knew that it's a low float stock and that this thing can really get going. Especially there was a couple of stocks this morning that were penny plays, like true penny plays, like in the 50-cent range that broke over $1. So if this is the day for this to break $1, which did it do? No, it got it to 83 cents. It would be today. So a couple things going for this one. First off, a couple other penny stocks have already ripped over $1. That was one. 2, this one was kind of an opening range breakout, you know, so you have your high, you have your low, and then we broke the high here. So opening, you know, if you want me to draw it, you know, I'll draw it for you, no problemo. Here's your high out of the open, here's your low out of the open, curled back up, and then a lot of people will buy right here. So that's your opening range breakout. All right, let me get rid of that. All right, so that's 2, and then third is the chat room momentum. So, you know, when these moderators, they buy a stock and they announce it, you know, you've got some, and in this case, this chat room's got some guys with some money behind their plays. So those are 3 things going for it. I went long. Unfortunately, I got a really terrible fill, like right here. That's where I got in, and I took 10,000 shares because it was such a low float, and I really did think it could move quite a bit. So anyway, it pops up. I kind of hold it, and it starts to pull back on me. And I was really thinking it would go faster up, but it started losing a little momentum, and I exited at basically 77 cents on all of it right here. So plus 2.5 on 10,000 shares. That's $250. It did end up ripping higher, and the chat room did make quite a bit of money on it. But you know, I wasn't willing to hold through the pullback just because I had such a lousy entry.
Long EARS 74.5. Chat he bought. All out EARS plus the 2.5 plus 2.5.
All right, so this next trade is AMD. AMD has having quite the trend recently of just popping straight up out of the open. So this might be one that I'll just, until it doesn't work, just buy it out of the gates because it's just been shooting up. So I mean, this is like what is this? A dollar move here in 5 minutes. Pretty crazy. Anyway, this is my 1 minute setup that I absolutely love. This is my bread and butter. Especially on the first pop, right? Okay, the first pop out of the morning, whenever it happens on whatever stock it is. So what do I mean by the pop? Well, these candles keep making new highs. This candle breaks this candle. This candle breaks this candle. This candle breaks the high of this one. This one breaks the high of this one. This is the pop, all right? We don't have any candle that doesn't make a new high. All these are making new highs. This candle breaks the top of this candle. I don't care what the color is, all right? This is the first candle that does not make a new high, right? In fact, it goes candle under candle. So a true pullback candle. What I do is I go pop, and then I wait for the pullback. All right, here's our pullback candle. And then I will play the first candle over the pullback candle, or over the last pullback candle. In this case, you know, it was only one pullback candle. Sometimes you get 2, 3, whatever. I will play the first time you go candle over candle on the pullback, right? Or after the pullback. So pop, pullback, and then I'm looking for candle over candle. So I'm going long right here. At the high of this one is 35. So as soon as it looks like it's going to be breaking 1935, I go long. So that's what I do. I go long and I get filled at 1936. It pops up, and I think I remember trying to get out at like 39 or whatever. What I'd like to see, the reason why I was getting out is because with the pop, pullback, candle over candle, I want it to rip again. Okay, I want to break this high pretty quickly. If it doesn't do that, it's a bearish sign. Now, it did end up, you know, double topping kind of here, pulling back, and then ripping later. But I played it right because it didn't rip earlier, so it pulled back a little bit more. You can kind of see it went down to 1932 here, and on this one, it even went lower. So with the pop, pullback, candle over candle, when you go long, or with me anyway, when I go long, I want it to rip immediately. If it doesn't rip immediately, I'm getting out. That means it didn't do what I thought it was going to do, so I'm getting out. And also, it's just a scalp play. I'm not holding this for continuation. I'm not going to hold it for another 5 minutes. I'm just scalping this move. The only exception to this pop pullback candle over candle is this pullback needs to stay in the top 2/3 of the overall move. And why is that? Well, that's the Fibonacci levels. So if this pullback were to come all the way down into this territory between the 61 and 100% of pullback, I would not be playing this. But obviously the pullback happened, and from here to here is all in play. All right, if the pullback happens in this range, the Fibonacci range, I'm game for this candle over candle. If this pulled back all the way down to here, not interested as much. Also, I prefer to stay above the VWAP. Those are two things. So this all looked really good for a setup. This was just a pretty setup that didn't really pay out well. So long explanation for a penny win.
Long at 36. Out 37 somehow. So +1.
So this next play is a news play. So BLDP, a little bit of news out that someone took a 19% stake in the company. Pretty huge stake, right? So I went long when I heard the news, and this is the volume spike you can kind of see on it. I went long, and terrible fill, right? I got filled at like basically 290 right here, right at the top of this candle, top protected. And I was thinking, well, this thing's been beat down pretty hard. If it could break this 290 level, you can kind of see it on the daily chart here. It's kind of act as a little bit of resistance. If we broke that, maybe, which would be yesterday's high, we break this level, this 290 level, we got a nice gap, that it could fill into. Could, whatever. I took 5,000 shares as well. My stop loss, though, was going to be the first time we go candle under candle. So this is what I'm looking at. And it's just kind of ascending triangle. It's making this, nice ascending triangle, higher highs, and then the top is staying high. So this is, nice ascending triangle here. The problem is if it breaks the downside of the ascending triangle, it could break down just as easily as, explode the top side. So I'm holding, and really, this thing, the volume is completely dead at this point. So that's just a sign that it's going to break down rather than, shoot up. And, that's exactly what happened. As soon as we go candle under candle, we broke the low here. I stopped out for a penny loss.
BLDP, Bravo Lima Delta Papa, Luchai Power reporting a 19.9% stake in Valid Power as of November 13th. That's in a 13D filing. That's Lima Delta Papa.
Among BLDP, someone took a big stake in the company. 19% stake in them. It's a bigger float, but that's a large stake.
So this next trade, and well, these are going to be 3 losses in a row, but as you can see, my losses are very, very small. Like, I'm willing to take a lot of trades, But the key is to keep your losses small. Like I've had more losers than winners at this point, but I'm still green on the day. And this is another instance of where I take a trade. I actually was green on it, didn't take the profit, ended up red, but I only lose, and I took 5,000 shares. I only lose 2 pennies on the trade, which or a little less than 2 pennies. So it was about an $80 loss because I took 5,000 shares. But normally I take 2,000 shares, and that's 2 pennies is $40. No big deal. To keep your loser small, if a setup doesn't do what you thought it was going to do, immediately get out. I mean, that's what I do. I can't tell what you should do. Sorry, whatever. That's the rules. Anyway, this trade. So I go long in this candlestick right here. So let's do this right here. This is the candlestick I went long off of. And what I saw here was when this came down and tested this $1 level, there was a pretty big buyer there. I want to say 150,000 shares or something like that. I don't know. It was a lot. So I'm thinking to myself, well, there's support. We've got a double top here, which is a bear sign. But now that, that's resistance. This is solid support, being that whole dollar level on a penny stock, as well as a big bid there. So I'm thinking to myself, if this thing can break the top resistance level, then it might pop. And this is support. So it's a little bit of a channel right here. So I go long. I should have gotten long here for the candle over candle for a little early entry, maybe slingshot it through this level. That would have given me a few more pennies with my 5,000 shares. But I was just too slow or whatever. I think I was just too slow. Maybe I was just waiting. I can't remember. I don't know why I didn't take the trade a little early. But regardless, I get it filled at 105. It pops up, and it hits a high of 107. So I'm up, $100 at this point. And this thing has come from a low on the day of 70 cents, and it literally hit the high day right here. So I'm thinking to myself, well, shoot, if it's gone, this high, why can't it go test these levels over here, 130? This is a daily chart. It just didn't do it. So I have to stop out. One of my rules is, if I'm in a trade, whenever it goes candle under candle right here, breaking the low of the previous candle, so we're inside this candle, is when I sell. When it breaks the low of the previous candle, that's my stop loss. So right there, 103 is my stop loss, so the break of 103. And if it looks like 103 is going to break, I get out. I got out, and you can see what happened. Just completely pooped on itself and never recovered. So the exit was spot on. The entry was spot on. It just didn't move as much as I thought it would. So small loss again.
Fishing boat, arrest rule.
Long 105, looking for high day break.
NBEV, New Age Beverage, getting a pop here. DGSE, Delta Golf Sandy Echo, hearing positive newsletter mention. Delta Golf Sandy Echo.
Out -2.
S&P 500 energy index hitting a more than 1 year.
So I don't often do this, but in this case, I did, and that is immediately go short on the stock I was just long on. So I went short, and the reason why is there was a huge buyer right here at $1, and again, we're talking about that channel that was just we were using just a moment ago, right here, right? That's the channel, and it broke to the top side and failed. It was a false break. It didn't rip, right? So then when it went candle under candle, we came back to that channel, and now if it breaks to the downside, maybe it flushes out. So with a failed move here, breaking to the upside of this channel and the failed move up, and you only got 2 pennies out of this. That's a failed move. That's not, that's not like this where you moved from 95 to 7-cent move there, almost 10%. This was much different. Once that failed, now any kind of you can enter here for a short. Now I'm looking, there's like I said, there's a huge buyer here. If he gets bought out, people are going to immediately start selling, and that's what happened. When it short at $1, it dropped to 95, and I was really hoping that it would just continue on down, but it started to bounce on me, and it went candle over candle, which I did not like, because I didn't want to hold through that. So I took 5,000 shares. I ended up covering for $0.015, so like $75. So it's a nice win, right? But if I would have been able to hold on using this dollar as resistance, it just never recovered after that. And I knew that probably would happen. I was thinking that maybe it would break above $1. It did break above $1, but it was like this fast. So there's no way I could get an entry on. I was thinking that maybe it would bounce up into the 102, 103 level, whatever. I could get a proper short there, but covered too soon, but it was safe. Previous play I lost. What did I lose? 2 pennies on this trade. I gained $0.015, so small winner on this trade.
Low down about 3%.
I'm short at $1. Ooh, good drop there.
Reports oral semaglutide.
Covered
demonstrates
98.5.
favorable cardiovascular.
So this next one was just a chat room buy. A large chat room bought this stock. I was following the momentum of it. I got filled at basically 4,000 shares, basically 171. It popped up to 177, came back down, and since I had such a large position, I want some green on stock. I really don't want to go red on it, and I didn't really super agree with the entry either. Just didn't like it. But I was just playing off of their momentum. I grabbed a penny off it. They did a lot better. They held much longer, but I made a penny off it. 4,000 shares, $40. So this next one is a news play. ATEN is the ticker, and as you can kind of see here, there's been zero volume on this thing all day long, right? Maybe up to this point, maybe 4,000 shares total. And then all of a sudden, boom shakalaka. 177,000 shares of volume. This is what news plays could do. This is why I subscribe to 2 news sources. Anyway, so it's ATN exploring possible sale. That is the news. So when the news came out, the price was at 590. That's the base, right? When I see that, when I flip over, I immediately buy 2,000 shares because yes, I'm chasing it a little bit, but it's only moved 30 cents. That's not a huge move for a company that might be selling itself. So it pops up, gets into this level here, which E-Trade is completely screwing me recently. My 100-day moving average, my 200-day moving average, 50-day moving average, 20-day moving average on the daily chart, they delete every time I put them up there. I don't know why. E-Trade, fix your crap. But anyway, it's pretend that you can see that the moving averages are right here. And that's where this kind of lands into. So I'm thinking maybe we can break the 650, and that's all it has in it. I was kind of holding and hoping that we could break this $0.50. I just couldn't do it. So it starts coming back down, and I sell for plus $740.
ATN, A10 Networks explores options that include a potential sale. Alpha Tango Echo November, that is from Reuters. That's ATEN, Alpha Tango Echo November. A10 Networks exploring a possible sale according to Reuters. Alpha Tango Echo November.
So this is the trade that I give all my money back on. This is a loser for me. And it could have been a very big winner had I held 2 more minutes. But anyway, I had to stick to my rules. So this is a not very advanced. This is not for beginners, I should say. So playing the TVIX is what I ended up playing, which is a 2 times the inverse of the of the VIX, right? Or I'm sorry, 2 times the VIX short-term ETN. It moves in correlation to the SPY. So I'm watching the SPY, right? So when the SPY goes down, the TVIX goes up. When the SPY goes up, the TVIX goes down. So what I'm watching here is we just had this big spike down, right? Which it's had, down, this whole morning it's been going up, right? But we kind of double topped ourselves here. We had this huge spike down to the VWAP. We broke VWAP, it kind of curled back up, broke VWAP again, 1 minute candle under candle. Now I'm thinking, okay, if it makes a little bit of a higher or lower high, I should say, which it did do, this high is lower than this high, and we go candle under candle again, we're going to break this level, and then move down, and that means the TVIX goes up. So I thought that was going to happen, right? Break this low here. I go long at 50.88, right? And it's kind of a false break. It drops and then comes right back up. I'm like, oh crap. So I give it a second. It's fighting. And I'm telling myself, if the SPY breaks 264, I'm just going to get out. What happens? The SPY breaks 264 and it goes on a little bit of a pop for a couple minutes before it gets another candle under candle and completely falls on its face. And that would have been a nice win. To show you kind of how the TVIX played during this time frame. Where are you? 10, 18, 10:05. All right, so right here. So kind of a false break to the upside, comes right back down, and then goes candle under candle, and it just kind of poops on itself for a little bit, just enough to stop me out. I took 2,000 shares, lost about 22 cents on it, and if it would have held 2 cents longer, the thing would have freaking shot up, and I would have made a killing on it, because that's what happens when I sell a little early, is it does exactly what I thought I was going to do, but I have to stick to my rules, right? My plan was, if The SPY broke that level. I'm exiting, and I gotta stick to it, even if it means cost me money.
That's what it is. Jeez, freaking A. $20.
So this next trade was the TVIX again, and the SPY ended up doing what? This is a little bit of a revenge buy. My thought process is if the SPY broke this low, that it would just make a downward push, and that's exactly what happened. Ideally, if I was smart, I would have waited for a bounce, which happened right here, and then play candle under candle, and that would have been much safer instead of just chasing. I chased this. I was telling myself I'm getting in for this, this break here, which would maybe open up a window down, but in all reality, I am chasing. Yes, it is an entry point, but it did just make a big spike down. Lucky enough, it did work for me. It was really weird price action though, because the SPY was dropping. It was dropping, but at one point the TVIX was not correlating. The TVIX was dropping too, and that doesn't normally happen unless the move is it's usually an omen. Like I said, the prices should go opposite of each other. So if the SPY goes down, the TVIX should be going up. Well, in this case, the SPY was going down and the TVIX was going down, and that doesn't normally happen unless it's telling you that it's a false move and the SPY is actually going to bounce soon, which it ended up doing over here, right? It did end up going. Luckily, it pushed. It did bounce here a little bit, and I was getting kind of worried because I was like down another $300. Finally, I get another candle under candle. This would have been the proper entry. It does flush down, does break the 50-cent level, and that's all I was looking for. Well, I was looking for more, but my thought process after the SPY broke this 50-cent level, that if it came back and broke 50 cent to the upside, I was just gonna stop out on my TVIX or profit. And you'll see, wish I could add compare. Yeah, okay, let's do this. So no, I didn't mean to do that. I don't know how to add it. The old charts, I know how to add it. I was just going to show you that, the inverse relationship. When the SPY goes down, the TVIX goes up. I guess I could just click on the TVIX to show you. Let's see, 1021 right here. So you kind of see for those 2 minutes the SPY was going down, so was the TVIX, which was kind of weird. But finally, the SPY took a deep enough turn, the TVIX shot up, and that's what I was playing. But it was a nice win. I got just over $400 on the trade, and it put me back to green. All right, so this next one, it's actually there's money on it. It's shocking, but this is just a pop, pullback, and then candle over candle, boom, right here. So here's our pop, right? Especially through the VWAP. This is the VWAP here. Pop, and then here's our pullback. So doesn't break that high. This doesn't break this high. This candle doesn't break this candle. This candle does not break the high of this candle. This is the first candle that breaks the high of the previous pullback candle. So boom, all right, pullback, 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 and then candle over candle. So I go long right here. 547, 2 dominoes here for me. So the first one is the candle over candle after the pullback. That's 1 domino. Second domino is the 550 level. And I'm thinking that, boom, 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 it would go up again like that. It doesn't end up doing that. So I sell half right at 550, and I try to sell the rest for profit or break even, and I ended up selling for, actually I made $10 on this trade. I thought I lost some, but it was $10. So my second lot I lost 2 cents on. First lot I won 3 cents on, made $10. Commissions is $5 total for me. So, I made $5, whatever. This is, just a play that a great setup, just it didn't end up working. I would have made probably, I don't know, $50. I don't know if the stupid watch my fill. I think I got ripped off, but I didn't call it in because it was, not worth it. But it ended up working, and that's why, if a stock, with this setup, boom, boom, it should have ripped higher. Right, especially A and Y. This stock has been known. Look at the moves it's been doing recently. I mean, $3 to $5.75, $2.50 to $4.20. What's this one? $1.75 to $4, $2.50 to $6.77, $4. Just you get the idea. It's been known to be a mover. So pop, pullback, candle over candle, this thing should have shot up. Especially, it's like E-Trade has it as a 242,000 share float. I'm sure it's bigger than that, but you get the idea. It's a small float. It should have ripped. It did not rip, so I tried to exit. Should have exited if E-Trade would have given me better fills for a nicer win, but it didn't work. And you can kind of see it didn't work, and it sold off about 25 cents. So glad I got out. Did end up recovering and going candle over here for some reason. would have been the paycheck. But you know, the stock is just kind of crazy, and I gotta, you know, take my shots when they make sense. And you know, this one, it made sense, it just didn't work out.
Long 548. Out half 550. Out the rest 545. How's it even possible? These bills, man.
So this next trade was a chat room playing the stock. A lot of people bought it. A lot of people had a, you know, saw it pop. And you know, when these large chat rooms buy a stock, you know, it's the equivalent of, you know, Warren Buffett buying a large cap stock. You know, everybody's like, oh, he's, you know, when Warren Buffett bought Apple at 150 and he announced it, the thing shot up like crazy, right? Let's see if I can find where that was. AAPL. All right. Apple. Okay, this is it right here, right? Apple's chilling in the 150, 160, I think is when it was, all right? Warren Buffett comes out, says he's long the stock, goes to 190, right? Just takes off. So this is just everybody, you know, hopping on it because Buffett said it. Well, the same thing applies to these chat rooms and their stocks. Okay, so when, you know, the one of the moderators says he's long a stock, you know, everybody else is like, oh, and they jump in a stock and the thing shoots up in price, right? So I played that momentum that they create, right? So they jump in, and then, you know, sure enough, the market, you know, everybody else that plays these penny stocks, they see that this, you know, ANY is shooting up again. Oh my gosh, former runner, this thing can go nuts. So then, you know, after, you know, the chat room people buying, then you've got everybody else that's watching this thing play, and soon enough, you know, you got a nice decent pop out of the thing. It did end up breaking high a day later on and just completely ripping again. So you can kind of see how, you know, this. Where's the stupid time frame on this thing? Oh yeah, okay. 10:34. So we're over here. Okay. You can kind of see how a chat room can start the momentum, but the market will continue it on. You know, sure enough. So chat room buy. I'm following the momentum. I take 4,000 shares at around 548. Sell half for about $200 win, and the rest, you know, it's popping up pretty good, and it kind of stalls out and it starts to come back down. So I want to just lock in my profit. So I do the rest at 555. So overall, nice win. If I held a little bit longer, it would absolutely been, you know, a really nice win. But you know what? I'm taking base hits here. Sometimes the double, the occasional triple, and the super rare home run. You know, base hits is what I make my living on. Everything else is just bonus.
Long ANY.
GM Golf Michael, now a headline from Reuters from an early report. National Highway Traffic Safety Administration opens investigation into about 2.7 million 2014 to 2016 GM pickups and SUVs. That was reported earlier. Now this headline from Reuters. That's Golf Michael.
About half at 59. Needs to break this 65 level. Out at 55. I'll get back in at 555.
And that's how I ended the first hour of trading, up $779. If you're interested in my trading style or just have any kind of questions in general, and you've made it this far in the video, which is probably 0 of you, but you know, we gave it a shot. Leave a comment down below if you made it to the end of this video. But anyway, come into my free Discord chat room. Link for that is in the description of this video. I announce it at the end of the video because we only want people that are really there to learn, not just straight pump stocks, whatever, but they're actually there to learn or contribute. So please come on in. We'd love to have you. A lot of people here that would love to answer your questions. A lot of really, really good. I'm not even the best trader in my chat room. I promise you that. There's guys in here that are way more successful than I am. So come on in. Link for that is in the description down below if you're watching this on YouTube. On that, I'll see you in the next video.